friends, welcome back to Simplified by Singam. Welcome to our CustomTkinter series. So far, we have built buttons, entries, frames, and even scrollable frames in our previous episodes. And today, we are going to explore another very handy widget, which is the radio button. And now, a radio button is perfect when you want the user to pick one option out of many, like choosing gender or payment method or theme preference. It's pretty common, right? All right, let's dive in step by step. All you have to do is import CustomTkinter as always, and we'll create app CustomTkinter.ctk, and then we'll give app.geometry to 300 by 200, and also app.configure. We'll give a good background color. I'll use white for now. And app.title radio button example. And now let's create the radio buttons. Maybe let's give radio button 1, CustomTkinter.ctk radio button, and we'll give it app text, maybe option 1, and we'll also give command. We'll give radio button event for now, but we didn't create anything. Don't worry, we are going to do that. And we'll give variable radio variable, and we'll give value 1. We'll do the same thing, but this will be option 2. Radio button 2, option 2, and the value will be 2. And we'll pack them. So we can do it right away. Radio button 1 dot pack var y equal to 10. Same thing, but for button 2. And then we'll do app.main loop. So for now, and now let's create the radio button event, like when the user taps on the button 1 or option 1, it have to do something, right? So that is why we need this function. So radio button event. So let's just create a radio button event. And we'll give it print radio button selected current value, and You give that whatever the value that radio button will get. So radio button, or you create a radio variable for that. So you just give radio variable dot get. Okay, now you'll be thinking like, what is this radio variable? Radio. So radio variable is something like a variable to control radio buttons. So radio variable equal to tkinter dot int var, and you'll give value 0. And now obviously you have to import tkinter. Okay. So what's happening here? Basically, we created a variable called radio variable. This will hold the currently selected option. And each radio button is linked to this variable using this variable. So using this variable. And, and the value tells us which button was picked. If you select option 1, then the variable becomes 1. If you select option 2, then it becomes 2. And finally, the command radio button event calls our function whenever the selection changes. So when you run this, selecting any option will print its value in the console. Let's check. So here I gave 2 options, and also let's give it a good text. I can't see anything. So text color, let's give black, and the same thing. Now you see 2 buttons, right? So when I selected this button, you see an action called radio button selected and the current value is 1. Radio button selected and the current value is 2. So basically what's happening here, you created 2 buttons and you placed them using the pack. And when you tap that button, so now the program goes to the command and checks this entire method, and now the program jumps to radio button event and it will say that radio button selected and the current value from where it is getting from this radio variable. And what is this radio variable? It is used to control the radio buttons using the tkinter. Okay, and this radio variable is created, and whenever user selects a particular option, this radio variable is getting updated, and this will give you the value of that particular option. So it tells us which button was actually picked, which button was selected by the user. That's the only selected by user. That's it. So when you run this, if you select any options, then it will print its value in the console. Okay. Now, what if you don't like this default style? Let's customize our radio buttons to make them look modern. Okay, what are we going to do now? Let's give foreground color green, and maybe hover color. We have an attribute called hover color, and we can also give it dark green. And this option too, you can give the foreground color blue and the hover color dark blue. dark blue. Then when you run it, see the option, it is changing. And this is green color and this is blue color. Green, blue. And also let's give it a good text. Instead of option 1, you can change it to Python and you can give it JavaScript. JavaScript. And now when you run it, green and blue. So option 1 is styled as Python, it is green, and option 2 is JavaScript in blue. The colors change when you hover over them too. It's pretty neat. And also sometimes you might want to disable or enable radio buttons based on a condition. And let me show you how easy is that. All you have to do is create a method called toggle state. And if radio button 1 dot state, then you give it normal. If the state is normal, don't worry, we'll understand the logic. Radio button 1 dot configure. You just have to give state disabled. And radio button 2 dot configure. Same thing, state disabled. Else, same thing, but you keep it normal. And now, so here you are going to do now you're going to create a toggle button. CustomTkinter.ctk button. And we need this inside the app. And just give text equal to enable disable and we also give command to toggle status, which is nothing but toggle state. And now you just have to place it. Toggle button dot back. Var by equal to 10. So here what's happening? We check the current state by using .c get state, which is here. This radio button 1 dot c get, it will get the state of the button. Is that a normal or is that disabled or something like that? If it's normal, then we disable both. And if it's disabled, then we'll keep them back. So we created a toggle button where it shows enable disable as text. That means when user clicks on that, if the button is normal, then it will disable it. If the button disabled, then it will keep them back. Don't worry. I know it's tricky to explain, but you can see the logic. But when you see the application, you will understand. Also, we'll give a text color to black. So enable, that means actually initially the buttons are enabled. So now I disabled it. So when I tap again, then these will be enabled. Disable, enable, disable, enable, disable, enable. So this is what we are doing. So we created a toggle button. It will keep the options enable if it is in disable state, and it will disable the options when it is in enable state. So now it goes to toggle state, and this is the logic. It now the program jumps here. It will get the state of the actual button using this dot c get. If it is normal, then it will disable it. If they are disabled, then it will change the state to normal. So So yeah, that's it for CTK radio button and CustomTkinter. We learned how to create simple radio buttons, customize these colors and even style, and also worked with enable and disable them dynamically. And if you observe here, we have some more concepts to go through it. If you want, you can go through in this blog. I will keep the link in the description in case if you need, you can just go there and you can learn. If you still have any doubts, you can comment down below. And also don't forget, try changing colors, fonts, or adding more options yourself because that's the best way to learn. The more you experiment, the more you understand. And as always, if you're enjoying this series, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more beginner friendly tutorials. See you in the next one.